All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going through live order flow. All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to, we'll be understanding the context between the aggressive buyers and the liquidity, really understanding liquidity. This is Bookmap's specialty, and we can kind of read the footprints in the sand in the auction process, and that gives us insight to where price might go next. All right, so general disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. We do have our special event later today, onboarding to Bookmap. Yours truly will be hosting the meeting, and we're going to go through just the basics, getting you up and running in Bookmap, downloading it, installing it, connecting it to data, adding a symbol in, and starting to navigate around the chart. So if you have any questions or if you need help, this is the webinar to come to. It is later today at 2 p.m. East Coast time, and if you want to see where or how to register, I have the link here, as well as hold on just a minute. Here's the link in YouTube. Over in Discord, you guys probably don't need it, but Dan just put it in there. Thank you, Dan. Would you be going over MBO data? No, Leah, we can go over that now. In this webinar. This is strictly about onboarding, right? But you ask your questions in here. This is the right place to be, okay? All right, so it's really important. There's a lot of traders that they just, for some reason or another, like maybe struggle to get connected or get up and running with Bookmap, and we're here to help through the process. All right, let's jump in and go into what's happening here in the we'll start with the S&P and we'll go through some of the details in here. All right, hold on just a minute, just get rid of that little trend line. I just took a small trade, just a couple of trades, but just to make sure that things are working right in Bookmap here. And I'm connected to the right channel accounts because I want to demo the multi-account product here for you guys. For those of you trading with prop trading firms, etc., it's a really great tool that we have. All right, now before we get into any of those details, let's just go through the basics and start to understand the bigger picture. We know the bigger picture is so important in trading. It is kind of the guiding light, really. And then it comes down to the mechanics and the details in the setup. Without the bigger picture, though, you're really kind of at a loss. You're really fighting against it, and there's no reason to do that. So we're going to look at this version of Bookmap here. It is an alpha version, as you guys know. I've been talking about it for I think a month or so. I think it is very alpha. There's a lot of issues still with it, but I just want to show you how powerful this is because I've been using it every day and I just love it. This allows me to zoom out in Bookmap, the desktop version here, to a very, very high degree. Okay, so I can zoom out here and look at, let's just keep zooming. Here's February, October of 2021 over here. This is looking at all the order flow. I mean, there's so many different millions and millions upon millions of pieces of data in here, and it's amazing that the developers found a way to do this. And we can look at the bigger picture here of what's going on in the market, and this is going to give us tremendous insight. Okay, so let's just zoom in here and let's take a look. All right, so you can see these gaps in here. These are weeks. Right, so these are several weeks in here. We've talked about this week to all-time highs up in here. Was it all-time highs? Yeah. and we were looking for that due to higher time frame analysis. Been chopping around in here, this last week. Pretty interesting. I was not anticipating this after our CPI data, and we can see all of this volume in here on the buy side, and you know, the picture is not too rosy necessarily here, yet here we are, you know, testing or you know, very poised up near all-time highs. Okay, so let's take a look here, and what do we see this week in Bookmap? Okay, higher time frame. Yeah, here's yesterday. Well, that's enough here. We've got a couple days here that we want to take a look at. So high liquidity in here, you can see bouncing into it, and you see the pullback after trading into high liquidity, and then yeah, this was the kind of off time here. We had the holiday yesterday, and now you can see the move to the upside again in here, okay, into high liquidity, chopping around, still looking pretty bullish here from this point onward. I'm just not seeing much of anything in here in the overnight, and then we trade up to here again, and then we have the cash open. Let's zoom into that, and we can see that sellers are coming in hand over fist. Okay, lots of selling. All right, so you can see the move down, and then this is what we want to understand in Bookmap, is looking at market structure and liquidity and volume. And what I mean by volume is the aggressor. Okay, in fact, let's just take the heat map off for a moment. Let's actually take off our stops and icebergs. We'll get to your questions later, Leah, about stops and icebergs. Okay, I'm going to actually, for now, I'm just going to mute them, deselect them, and we're just going to look at volume in here. So is there any question who's in control, right, from just before the cash open? Okay, this is, I mean, it's such a simple read, and it's kind of a silly question to ask, but sellers are firmly in control right now. They're moving the market lower, and they're moving it on high volume, high sell volume. The big red dots, these are market sell orders moving that market lower. Look at the pullback in here. This is as much as the buyers could muster, okay, at 940 or so. We drop lower. Look at the pullback in here. Guys, these kinds of setups in here are golden. I will have some new course material for you guys on exactly this, okay, because we know the move is to the downside. We can see it just in the volume alone. We see it again, a drop. Buyers come in and try to bring back up price. They just come back up to where the drop initiated here. We try again here. We get like a double top. Is there any buying trading up in here in this picture? No. We see sellers again, and we get a hard drop. Okay, so we know sellers are still in control and moving this market low. Okay, now we even have another market structure to look at here, and it is just right here. Okay, and you can see buyers are kind of flirting with it right now, right? So we can see that it's trading up in this 31, 34 area or so. And in fact, let's put in some more structure. Put a trend line in. It's a pretty sloppy trend line. Something like that. Okay. So this is just putting in structure, understanding the movements in the structure. Sellers in control, moving price lower. All right, now let's also add in the heat map here. Okay, so now we know that, right? Sellers in control, sellers moving that market lower. What about the other side of the trade? Where's the liquidity? What is the passive orders the limit buy orders, like in these areas in here, or limit sell orders in these areas up in here, what are they telling us right now? And right now, you can see that we traded into this high liquidity down here, traded a bit through it, but we're bouncing around now. Okay, this is very, very typical. And this is how you can start to build out your trading plan, by looking at some of this. Keep on trading into high liquidity and you get a bounce. That's what the normal behavior we anticipate. Trade it up into high liquidity up in here. We get a sideways action and then sellers come in. Okay, now this is a potential break of structure here. Okay, it's breaking it right now, and it's breaking it on a high buy volume. So where are buyers going to go? Well, I would look for them to take it right up to maybe this 38 level here. Okay, now just for kicks, I'm going to jump over to Trader Map Lite or Pro here, and we'll look for a small pullback, and then I'm just going to get in. Okay, so now I just want to show something here. Like you know, this whole little area in here, we're interested, and we're looking for. Now again, it's just to show this idea of coming up to 38. It's not a trade recommendation whatsoever, but we're breaking structure, and we're breaking it on high buy volume. Okay, so I'm looking for the buyers to explore higher to where the sellers came in. Okay, just that idea here. That's it. And then you can take a trade off of that idea. Okay, or you can look into making this a trade setup for yourself. Okay, we're getting a pullback now. I wasn't anticipating this pullback because this was pretty strong volume here. I would look for the buyers to come in again here now. That's another potential is for studying and getting into a potential trade. Okay, so pullback, buyers now starting to try to take control, at least in this small time frame. And where will they go to test? I would say up here at 38. Okay, so we'll take a look. We'll see. And if we got it wrong, we got it wrong. We would look for the order flow in here to tell us. Okay, now they're bidding up at 35. Okay, you can see that in the order book here. Also here at 34, 33 3/4, and also down here at 31. Okay, so now we're waiting and we're watching to see if we get more aggressive buyers here to take this up into 38. All right, so anyway, and here we were talking about a break of structure on that higher time frame. So let me zoom out here and let me kind of duplicate the structure. Kind of a sloppy trend line. Okay, well, yeah, we might see sellers come in and try to take it down now. Maybe this is a false breakout here. That's fine. I'm still looking for buyers to support it here. Okay, and upend any of the selling in here with maybe a move higher. All right, so we shall see. Let's see, any questions over Discord? What's my settings for the volume dots, Leah? Okay, yep, let's go here, volume dots. Okay, I'm using delta dots. This is my size, and I'm using the smart clustering right now. It's just right here in the middle. Okay, default. Okay, this is the last gasp here. If I don't see any more buyers come in, see where they came in right in here. I'm looking for support there. And if they don't, then we're out. Yeah, we're out. Okay, so we took a loss on that. But it's just to demonstrate this idea in here. Okay. And we've seen this work out so many times. It's a break of the structure, a pullback, and then continuation to where and test these sellers here. Okay, so anyway, there is some takeaways to learn from this little structure in here as well. And it's strong volume, you know that. Okay, now when I looked at this on this chart here, I didn't see the high liquidity in here that we traded into. Okay, so I just jumped over and then jumped into the position. This is where TraderMap Pro and TraderMap Lite are more helpful, because it's showing this high liquidity in here that is not showing on this symbol, the ES regular chart. And the reason being is there's a bot in here. You can see this algo in here that is really skewing the auction, and that's where it discounted the high liquidity that we saw in here. Okay, that's why we filter it out with the TraderMap Lite, which is free, and or the TraderMap Pro version. Okay, so that's one thing. So we traded into it here, and we trade a little bit through it. Now look at how we traded up above it here. Now, of course, this is hindsight, but this is okay. Like, you know, let's learn from what we did in here, because I'll take this again and again and again. But just refining it in here. How do we refine it? What is it that we maybe can take away from this in here? Number one is it traded into high liquidity, and number two, as it traded through that high liquidity, look at the trading up in here. It's still buy volume, okay, but it's not much. You can see the bulk of it is here. This is not that much in here. It's kind of thin up here. So if it can't trade higher up in here, and then, you know, I would still look for a retest, and this is as close to the retest as we got right here. Okay, so it did bounce off of this area here, okay, and we were looking for that on a pullback either to here or to here, and that's why I got in here for a second position, so yeah, we bounced off of this area here. I'm looking for those buyers and looking for it to take it higher. Okay, this was as close as we got to it, and then it failed, and then we got out. All right, so we gave it a shot all the way back down to here, and it didn't work out. So now we have a new structure. Okay, we broke this structure here. Right, and you can kind of see that, well, we didn't come back up and retest it, but there's another one kind of here. We did retest that one, and it's failed. Okay, so you know, yeah, it's a little more convoluted in here, but a lot of times it's just one line going across, and you'll see it retest back up here and fail and go through, and this becomes our pivot point in here to take a look at. All right, so I hope that helped Leah answer your questions on the volume dots. Yep, okay, great. Okay, so now look at the buyers come back in. See how we might be seeing a potential reversal starting to unfold, and I got in way too early on that one. And it's these clusters of buying, but we just can't hold up, and then we trade back down into lower liquidity in these areas in here, and we fill it, but we don't get sellers really to go much lower, and then we get another cluster of buying in here, and then we get this kind of rounded bottom in here, or even like a head and shoulders, and maybe that's what this will turn into. And we'll see. All right, because we are still finding some buyers up here, but they're not really getting too much traction at the moment. All right, so let me show you what I mean in here. So building out your trading plan, like, and taking away something here, like this is what, you know, we look for either a deeper pullback and then maybe more aggressively manage it and just say, well, maybe if we drop below this, we're out. You know, I gave it a shot down into these areas in here, and then got out. Yeah, we'll see here if this turns into here what I want to show. Let me show you. Okay, so go to bookmap.com, education, and then our strategies and setups. I'll have a lot more in here soon. The head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. This is what I'm talking about. These little clusters, this cluster here is probably what we, if this reverses, then this is the cluster that we just traded. Okay, now we're looking to see if we get another cluster up here with more buy volume. Okay, and we would look for this to start to break out, but we can look for example a pullback on low sell volume, and then buyers come in again. At this point here, buyers can take control massively. Okay, and that's where we'd look for the move up higher, a pullback and a bounce off of that, this little structure here, and that can turn into a continuation pattern. All right, that would be your reversal. Let's just see if we get it here. Okay, so this is, we broke the structure here, and I thought we'd at least come up to like where it dropped from here, and we didn't get enough buyers. Okay, but they're starting to mount their attack here. Okay, again. Let me see if there's any other questions here. No. All right, what else are we seeing here? It's just unresolved right now. It's just kind of chopping back and forth at the moment. Let's clear our drawings. Okay. Yeah, right now we're not really doing much of anything in terms of trend. It's really just kind of back and forth. We look at the, we're still finding more buyers here actually than we are sellers. Sellers here dropping it lower, right? But right in this little area in here, look at the selling here. Very, very little, right? So looking for buyers now to take it back to the same idea that we're looking at earlier, back to here or here. Back to this little swing here at 34 or up to 35 here. And so this is where those buyers, well, the buyers came in down here, but this is where we see this kind of more stronger move in here. So maybe if we do see sellers down here underneath, then we'd look for this to continue on down. Yeah, and they're starting to show. Okay, high liquidity here at 30, 29, and 27 3/4. They're pretty close to lows of the day now. See if these sellers can squeeze that bottom edge here. Yeah, and it's not so clear right now. I mean, high liquidity here and here, and it looks like it transacted, not all of it in here, but it looks like a lot of it did. All right, let's see if we can get our sellers in here. There's more selling at this bottom edge here. All right, there's our pullback. And let's see it, sellers should be able to take it down into maybe even 25 here. Pretty good. All right, now again, this is something that, go back and look at some of these things and start to put the pieces together. Like if you want to build out a trading plan based off of some of these ideas in here, go back and study it. We're going to study this one here, and we're going to take some have some takeaways from it, and then this would be one instance in the trading plan, okay, or the back testing. One of the nice things in Bookmap that you can do is you can go back and you can replay this file if you record it. So in the run options, when you start up Bookmap, make sure to check the box for replay your data or record your data. Sorry. Let me show you where you'll find that in here. If you go to bookmap.com and then you click on the education link, it'll take you to the learning center here. And then click on getting started in here. And then you'll find it down under, let's see, the run option window. Right here. I'm sorry, it's right here. Okay, so the run option window, yeah, this is what you want to click here. Record your live data. Once you do that, then you can replay it in replay mode. Replay mode is a really powerful way to become a better trader. Right, really powerful, because like I was saying, you might look at this in here and like, okay, yeah, I'm going to short it, but you really need to kind of look at some of the details in here. Like you can see buyers are trying here, right? Are they getting traction though? And look how they're trying to see how they're creating a new structure here. So for example, this structure is now turning into this structure. Now we see this all the time. Now these buyers in here are going to get stopped out on the way down. Okay? If they can't buy again here, right here at 29, then I'm looking for sellers to take it down. Okay, so it looks pretty good. There come the sellers, right? So understanding this in replay mode, and go back and replay it again and again and again. So that way you can start to anticipate this kind of retest like this back to where it dropped from in here, and then the follow through. Okay, because there's always it can be really tricky in here. Now look at the follow through in here. Now we're finding those buyers come right back in. So if you're getting in to some place like this, you should be looking at, well, just go back and look at it, how you want to manage this, because when it all comes down to it, setup is great. Look for your setup, start to know that you have an edge in your setup, but then it comes back down to the trade management. And then the trade management is really where it's really, you got to know you have an edge. That's the most important thing. And then it's really trade management. And how you manage that is it's just, it makes all the difference. Okay, Leah, you want to look at crude oil and the MBO bundle? Yeah, we can do that. We haven't looked at crude oil in a long time. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Alois. J is the current contract. All right. So we also have Leah. If the MBO, you will need to have either Rhythmic or Bookmap data. Okay, so let me show you the Bookmap data version of it. Just Bookmap data futures. Then from the drop-down exchange, obviously you're going to have to go with NYMEX. And then thanks to Alois for giving me the current contract. Let's go. All right, so it's loading. Just traded up into high liquidity here at 71.60. All right, and let's add the MBO bundle in here. Stops and icebergs. That looks good. Stops and icebergs chart. I think we're good. Let me get rid of deselect cumulative volume delta. Now, Leah, one of the things in here, note that I just added the symbol. Okay, and you can see it adds, Bookmap adds automatically 1 hour of historical order flow data. However, this data is not MBO data. Okay, so it will not, the MBO only works for when you start Bookmap and then moving forward. So if that's what you need and you're looking for your stops and icebergs, just make sure that you get up in the morning before you start trading, that you get enough data in here for your MBO stops and icebergs indicator. It's important. You can see the little gap in here. This is when I started Bookmap. Okay, and you can see I already have like, this is a strength indicator. Yeah, see I filtered them out here on chart. Now we're going to look at all of them. And every single one, if it's just, if an iceberg for one or a stop for one, it will show up. Okay, so you can see that we're kind of struggling to get through this 71.70 level here. Add a new column in here. All right, now note up in here, right? This is exactly what we just saw earlier. See how this, I mean, it's important to note the order flow details in here. Okay, so I mean, this is the strong move in here, but it traded into high liquidity in here, which is going to sap up or absorb a lot of that buying pressure, but there was more, so it traded higher. Okay, but there's higher liquidity up here at 71.70, and we're not even, well, we did get some transactions in there. Six contracts traded up into here. That's it. right? Look at the buying up in here. So you would look for either, well, you'd look for a pullback to maybe the structure here or down here. Okay? And if you're still bullish on that, which we are, okay, you'd look for the pullbacks to here. Now you can get involved in these areas in here. Now, what do you have though to justify it? And this is where your setup will come in. Like, okay, you can use stops and icebergs in here as well. So there was a stop run of 12, traded into high liquidity in here. But do I see the aggressors come in? Okay, so I've got some nice things. I've got some other things like up here. It's not very good. I don't see a cluster of buying. Maybe it's you know, you can talk about auction market theory. It's a tapered edge up in here. Not going to see much trade up here, right? So maybe we're going to find sellers come in and drop it down to retest the buyers down here. Okay, so this is the context we're trying to read in here. So here comes some selling, right? Down again here. All right, let's see now if they can break it and trade back down to here, or high liquidity maybe at 52 here. Maybe it goes a little bit lower here, a couple of ticks lower from 54 to 52. Yeah, it's great that we have all this MBO data, Alois, on all these different exchanges. Yep. Yeah, exactly. You know, our data is excellent. I know a lot of other traders that they are really happy with it. Me too. I think it's just excellent, and you can get it right from bookmap.com. And it's cheaper than some of the others. Okay, but very, very high quality. All right, so guys, this is what we just talked about. This scenario in here, trading back down to here. Now the question is, again, are we going? I would expect a little bounce here. In fact, heck, let's just do it. I haven't traded crude oil in quite a while, but let's go into our rhythm. And I would look for a bounce up to here. Okay. Now it's kind of done it. And now the question is, we're going to see this. Is this going to become our structural break here? No, Kyle, I'm in NYMEX right now, and I'm looking at MBO. Here, we're going into CBOT. Here, we look at the YM. Yeah, so you should be good. Well, I'll close the YM. I'm not sure when we offered it. Like, so there's our. See how tricky this can be. You know, you're thinking, well, buyers got control here. You know, they're moving it, and then look at the aggressor come in here and then push it right through this area in here. This is the battleground right here, and these traders are going to beat each other up in here. And this is where, you know, trading is, you can have your setup and you can look for these things. Typically, we look for buyers to support it here. Well, they're not right now, right? Sellers are just stopped out a bunch here. 84 got stopped out. And that now we might find buyers come back in and trade it back up to, you know, some of these areas up in here, right? Or here's a good target right here. High liquidity at 71.60. What's my setting for volume in here? I'm just using default again right here. Okay, smart clustering is right in the middle. If I hit restore, that's what it is. Okay. So that clustering works well for me. If I zoom out, you can see that it will cluster these into like a bigger volume dot. All right, let's go back to the ES and see what's going on in here. Now, this is starting to look like that reversal that we were talking about. Okay, so in fact, do I want to jump in here at the highs? I'm getting kind of tired of jumping in at the highs in here, but I am looking for this to go higher. Okay, this is where our cluster was earlier. That kind of got us tripped up because it broke the structure. Now it's looking even better. Note, okay, buying, cluster and buying, but it didn't really get anywhere. Buying. Okay, let's see if they can break that and come up and trade up to 39 or 40 here. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'd look for. Okay, so here's some exhaustion here, but let's see if we can get a bit of a pullback, and then we're just going to miss it. I'll put another one in here for a pullback. Might get a pullback to here. Now, if the sellers come in and break it, like yeah, we're out. But you know, this is we've got a lot of fuel in here for this move higher. Okay, we have a lot of buying in here, and buyers trying to take control. And the next area to take control or move to try to take control would be up into this 39 area or 40. I'm going to use a new tool in here as well. You guys have probably played around with it. The channel. This into a price channel. I don't know, something like this. And then we can extend it. Edit it and extend it. There we go. Okay, so looks like it's starting to fail here. Well, let's see if we get a bounce off of this little channel, our structure that we just had marked up here. I would also look for some support right here at this 33 area. And we are not getting it. All right, we're out. Guys, this is why I it's either we look for a good setup or the right time frame, or we or we don't trade. I don't care about. I'm fine trading in front of you guys. No problem at all. I just wanted to make sure that we have. I like to demo it and show you certain things with the trading and then the management as well. But the kind of shooting from the hip is can be kind of dangerous. Even though I say this isn't it's not a trading room, it's really to demo how to manage within the order flow. Okay, because we're always asked this question. Okay, that's great, but then how would you manage it? Okay, we're getting a lot of questions over here. Thank you, Stephen. All right, guys. Here, let's take a look here at again. Let's take a step back and look at the higher time frame and see what's going on in here. This time I'm going to look at the candlestick chart in here. All right, so here's the daily over here on the left, and you can see the breakout and looking like very poised to test these all-time highs. And now you can see this is a negative day here. It's red. Okay, so we might see a lot of selling, and if we do see a lot of selling, it's kind of a bit of a wick here. But if the first move would be to the low 27 and then 19 here, somewhere around there, and then we can get maybe down to this structure here as well, which would be just below the figure of 6100. Okay, here's the hourly here on the in the center, and then the 15-minute here, right? Here's the pullback to that structure, under over again. So it broke it, and then it broke it again here. So pretty choppy, and no follow through on that price channel. And yet it's still, we're getting buyers back up above it again too. Let's take a look at our crude oil. Okay, so see how crude did the same thing in here, same structure. We broke this one here, and you can kind of draw this line across, kind of here as well. Buyers above it, sellers below it, sellers now in control here. So this line is kind of getting a little bit kind of what's the right word? It's kind of a gray zone in here. A lot of times we see it very distinctly as a line. But yeah, right now you can see markets just kind of bashing on each side of it. That is doing it several times, in fact. You can see it here. And all the way across. You can also see it down here. Okay, very distinctly. Sellers down here, buyers back up above it, and we just traded back down into that same area in here. Look at this. Oh man, and buyers coming right back again to trade it again. Should we let's take another shot at it here. What the heck? Now, I mean, we've seen this so many times in the past, like, just not enough buying up in here, but we return back to it and we do get the move that we were looking for. And there just wasn't enough buying here. We read it right in here and the clusters in here, but here's where it just it failed to break out here. It broke the channel. It broke the structure, and then buyers come in yet again in here, right? So now this can lead to a really powerful move, though, if these buyers do show up here, okay? And we can go to all-time highs here. But we're looking for them, and so far so good. They're coming in. So I would look for this to test up into this 40, but we might even get a better break than that. We may get a break above up into the 50 level up in here where it dropped from. Okay, we'll keep an eye out here. These can lead, like I said, these can be very, very powerful moves. There's a lot of back and forth, and yeah, you can see this kind of structure here, and it's just above our line in here. So that's kind of what we outlined earlier in the from that Learning Center video. Back here. Yeah, this one here, right? That head and shoulders. So this is kind of it right here. So this one I'm gonna stick with, and then maybe we can get a better move out of it here. Just think about it here, and let's look for what's driving the moves in here. Okay, there's going to be a lot of selling in these areas in here. They're going to feel a lot of pain if we can get back up here and squeeze them. Okay, and so far so good. The buying looks pretty powerful here. Yeah, Paul. Well, welcome, Paul. Paul, you might want to come over to our Discord channel. We've got streamers all day long. In fact, let me show you something from the bookmap.com website. If you go here and then you click on education, that'll take you to our learning center. There's all sorts of materials. There's these courses here. This is getting up and running in Bookmap. This is our market mechanics course. These are strategies and setups. I just showed you the head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders in there that we're kind of looking for, and we got kind of tripped up on a few times, but now it's looking pretty good. There's a lot more in here, so scroll down. This is our new calendar. Thank you, Dan. He's been working on this, and we still have a few more things to maybe work on, but we're pretty much there. It looks pretty good. Yeah, thanks, Dan. So these are some of the reasons to come over to our Discord channel and click on the events, and you'll see all the details in here. Show more, and it'll describe it. You can add it right to your calendar here. You can copy the link or send an invite to somebody else. You can come over here and filter by instrument, also by host, whatever it is that you want. This one's in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. This one here is in German with Marcos from Mata Trading, etc. So we got a lot of good stuff in here, right? Check it out. And then once you come over to our Discord, you'll see all of the rooms in here, and all day long we're having events, right? So there's lots of this is fertile ground, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's all at no cost, right? So come on over and you can join the Bookmap Academy. The Bookmap Academy takes it further. You can get coaching and feedback. So if you want to join the Academy, come on over and you'll see some of the details there in Discord. All right, guys, I am looking for we're looking for this 40 to transact. I don't know really here. I do see the bid looks pretty good. See the bid here in the heat map. This is the context that we're talking about. I like it. I like them seeing more bidding up underneath here. I want to see them pull on the offer though. That would be good. And I want to see these buyers come in and trade through this area with size and strength. Okay. Otherwise, we're looking for kind of a pullback. As you can see, we traded into some liquidity here, and see how it kind of strong move up to it, and then it kind of tapers off. This is that context of liquidity that we're talking about. It's being absorbed. This buying pressure is being absorbed by sellers in the order book. Okay, they're on the other side taking the trade. So these buyers are transacting with big sellers. And now we're going to get an answer in here. How much buying pressure is there? How much demand by the aggressor? So we're looking for green dots to trade into and through. And you can see you can see sellers came in now. Okay, so they're going to try to push it. Now this is exactly it right here. They traded down to this little range in here. Okay, can they trade it further? Maybe into this little area right in here. Let's see. Now, are there buyers listed or in the order book in here willing to take that trade with the sellers? Okay, Leah, let's jump over to your crude oil. It's pretty messy too. That structure that we're talking about, we're just about to test it, and maybe we break it again here at 71.50. Okay, but sellers remain in control from this area here. Let's also take a look at the context of stops and icebergs in all of this here. And let me clear my chart here. It's kind of messy, but we know this is the area of interest here, right in here. Okay, so it's actually somewhere around 71.50. Can we get buyers above it? Okay, let's look at stops and icebergs. How can this help? We don't have a whole lot of data in here to look at that, but yeah, let's just take a look. I also have it in the sub chart here, right? So iceberg buying in here, then some iceberg selling. Right here is these 34. That's that drop in here. Now, and you see the red line in here. These are stops, okay, being triggered or transacting. Okay, so people are getting stopped out on the way down. This is where you can put these pieces together as a really good addition to your order flow analysis. We're seeing people getting stopped out in these areas in here, right? Here's 54, 4 and 88. 4 is nothing, but 88 and 54 are pretty big. Here's another one at 84 up here, right? Now, we have high liquidity and people getting stopped out, okay? We don't have icebergs necessarily on our side here. They're selling in here, and that's kind of funny. But usually you see this kind of, I hate to call it like a crisscross or a, you know, like a crossover. It's really not. It's not to be read that way. It's just to understand the context in here. That as smaller players are getting stopped out here, we see larger players absorbing it with icebergs. We see this context all the time. Right now, I don't quite see it, right? But I don't have a whole lot of MBO data in here right now. This can help you a lot, right? Because now you know, like larger players and smaller players can, you know, you can be on the side of the larger players here and know that a lot of the stops have already been triggered. Let's jump back to our ES. Okay, so we did trade up to 40, and this is pretty typical. This is kind of what we anticipate. You know, a pullback here, or you can see it. Buyers met the sellers here, and now we're just kind of going sideways. Now we're going to see who's going to take control from this little zone in here, okay, in this consolidation. Okay. You want me to add market pulse to CL? Showed bright red and lime green last meeting. That was a strength indicator. That was something else. That wasn't market pulse. All right, guys, another thing, your higher time frame analysis, it really depends on you and what you're looking for. So you might be looking at pivot lines. You might be looking at this in your volume profile in here. Look how thinly traded it is up here when it dropped. It's maybe this is where it needs to kind of fill back in and auction. And this is what you're looking at. This is what you think. Or maybe you get up into these zones up in here, and you're a seller. You don't think it's going to come up into here. Okay? Whatever it is. Or you might be looking at whole numbers, or you might be looking at Fibonacci levels, or floor trader pivots. I like to look at some of the or it could be even candles, and that's all great, but just look at the order flow within it. So for example, I like to look at measured moves, and let me clear the drawings here for now, and we'll put in a measured move. Okay, so from this area in here, look at the back and forth in here. Okay, so let's duplicate it, and let's move this up, and let's just see where it might go. Okay, well, coming up into this liquidity up in here at 6140 looks pretty good. So we don't know, but I have a reason now for maybe taking some profit up here. All right, let's add the so now we're seeing the buyers come back up above this area. Pretty tricky here in Crude, but yeah, looking for them to trade back up into 70, and let's see if they can break out of it. We can look at market pulse as well. Okay, let me add it for crude oil. I'm going to look at just a simple one in here. The price change one is free, so you can use that one. But I'm going to look at, well, we can look at price change. Or I like the volume pressure imbalance. This is my mark. Okay, we'll create a new one here. Okay, pops up here. Look at volume pressure imbalance. Crude. Bring down the volume here. And threshold of 5. That's good. Let's click play. Go. Okay. You can add it to the subchart down here. Looking pretty good, right? And this is all kind of in line also with the stock index is going up. So that probably gives you a good feeling as well. There's something about this market pulse tool that I really like a lot. If you look at your time and sales in here, okay, we can add a time and sales column. And you can filter the time and sales column with minimum size. You want to look at like 5 or greater here in Crude. Or not. You want to look at 1 and look at every single order coming through. It's up to you. You can do all of that in here, but this in here, you're just going to see it flowing through, and you're going to see it for what it is right now in Crude. The transactions flowing through. Market Pulse will give additional insight in here, and it's unique. This is something I really like about it. Is you're going to see, depending on your setting in here. Let me show you. If you right click on it, depending on your setting in here, you can look at the last 5-minute period of data and how does that compare with buying and selling. Okay, that you can't get over here in your time and sales. So if you like your time and sales a lot, and also you're looking at your liquidity map up in these areas up in here, this is going to give you additional insight over the last 5 minutes. For this example, we're looking for the amount of pressure, buyers versus sellers. And you look for that in the subchart here, as well as on the widget itself. Okay, so that is a really great feature, in my opinion. And again, you can play around with it and look for whatever it is you want to look for. Maybe it's 2 minutes. Maybe you have a half-life period that it brings it back to 0 or half the way to 0 more often. Or another thing, we were talking earlier about backtesting. Okay, so we can add in more data in here, and we can look at it on the historical chart. What's that setting? Here it is. Okay, so we're going to let's add 3 hours of data in here. And then now look at your setting in here. Now you can go and play with your setting though. And then look at the tips in here where it's green or red. Okay, this is what you might have been talking about or asking about, Leah. Down in here, you're getting extreme reading beyond 70%. Okay, well, does that line up in some of your market structure to look for an opportunity? Okay, so here it does. Okay, you're kind of coming down in this area in here. This is not bad. Now, what you're looking for is buyers to start to come in and trade back up into these areas in here. Now, we don't know, right? Maybe more maybe it just kind of comes up to here, and then more sellers come in and come back down into your 71 area here. Okay, we don't know. But when you start to look at the bigger picture in here of you have liquidity being filled on the bid, you have stop runs here. We don't have the icebergs, okay, that we noted, but we're looking for the buyers in here. And then and you also have an extreme reading in your market pulse. Okay, start to match these extreme readings up with reversals. This will be another added layer or confluence in here. A lot of people have been using this, really well for another layer of confluence to justify their trade. All right, let's jump back. Let's take a look at this ES in here. How's it doing? Okay, well, we got our pullback and we're back up again, and we're seeing buyers here. So now we're looking for our continuation pattern up into 45 here. Okay. I also like to look at the swings in here, and we have the swing here around 42 or 43, and we need to see buyers back up into that area and above it. We can trigger a lot of stops up in here. Okay. We can also look at another measured move in here. Impulse move, pull back, followed by another impulse move of equal length. Okay. Assume that. You don't know. It might be less length, or it could even be more, right? We're just going to look for a measured move. Okay, so it actually goes above the our 45 level. I'm going to stick with 45. Okay, any other questions? Let's see. Thanks, guys. Alois and Stephen answering a lot of questions over there. Yeah, we can trade the DAX. Eurex. Yep. Alois is a product expert. Yeah, and giving even more information. Like not only is the DAX, but it will not work with CFDs, your contract for differences. We do not connect to those. You can trade them on a different platform if you want, and you can access the data from Eurex and your DAX. Okay, but the CFDs, the volume, the spreads, the liquidity is pretty horrific. So if you want to trade them on larger time frames, maybe it works better. But I think you're really kind of hurting yourself if you're trying to trade on lower time frames with it. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet. In fact, a lot of times we'll see this kind of move in here. This would be a failed reversal pattern in here potentially. What happens is in crude oil, it actually does it quite a bit. Let's see if it's doing it today. No, not really. It's something kind of like this: is you get this one impulse move, you get a pullback, and then you get another impulse move, and it just can't go anywhere. So you don't get that second leg, and then the sellers come in and they'll trade it right back down to some of these areas in here where the buyers came in. Okay, swings or even lows of day, or it can get your trend continuation. Yep, so yeah, we don't know quite yet, but let's put a little more structure on it. That to hold or not. All right, let's jump back into our higher time frame as well. What's it looking like here? It's still pretty strong buying. I mean, looks like we're getting a pullback maybe to around 30, maybe 36, or somewhere around in here. We need to see if there's still more buying up in this area around 36. Another thing we like to see on a reversal is you'll see it like in the head and shoulders. You'll see it like right at the head typically, and you look for this kind of in the volume bars down here, volume delta bars. Selling, selling, selling. It kind of withers away, kind of like this, and then buying starts. Little pockets of buying here, and then buying really starts to pick up and pick up and pick up, and then we're looking for buyers to take control. And the reversal pattern would be complete. And that's that rounding bottom that I was talking about earlier as well. So that's when we're looking for something like this in here. All right, let's see. Gone through all the questions. One of the questions we always get about is it's really revolves around the context of the order flow here, and putting those pieces together. Now we've gone through it many times in here. Market structure, higher time frame though, we want to use as a filter to give us insight to when the smaller move might start to unfold, and then we can look for like the bigger move. Okay, so like right now, we're kind of chopping around in this area. We're not sure if this is going to follow through or not. Okay, but the structure is still holding though from the buy side. Okay, we're seeing some selling come in, but this might get upended. We'd look for maybe we see a move below the swing into high liquidity down here. Just kind of reaches this trend line and then comes right back up, and we find our buyers, and then we get the squeeze and the move higher for that second impulse move. Yeah, in terms of the higher time frame as well, how many people in here are what are you using for your style? Maybe we can put in a quick poll. We don't have much time left, but just kind of wondering, like maybe put it in the answers, or in the comments. Like, are you looking at patterns? Are you looking at like head and shoulders or whatever it might be, or are you looking at things like candlesticks, for example? In fact, let's just add a candlestick on. Yeah, like here, okay. In our candlestick pattern, like okay, so yeah, okay, we broke below this little candle here, and it's on some heavy selling at the moment, but we also can see this kind of turnaround in here in the candle. Wicks, the selling here followed by the buying in here, pull back, and then the buying follow through here. Okay, so yeah, let's see if we can maybe bounce off of this kind of top of the range in here. Let's see if we get our buyers coming back in. It doesn't look too good right now, to be honest, but let's take a look. Okay, high liquidity is somewhat high liquidity. I mean, they're on the bid in this area here, so they are buying. Okay, and I'm looking for it now. If we're on the buy side, which we are so far in this move, this is kind of breaking our structure in here, and we're below it here. So if we don't get our buyers coming in now, and we get back up above here, then it looks like this is going to be a failed reversal pattern in here. Okay? So that's what it looks like in here. And we were looking for it because we had that strong buying and these clusters of buying in here. But then we get our second leg and we don't get the follow through. Okay? This happens a lot. That's why in the video here, we go through this strategy and say, like, be careful, because it's reversals can be tricky. It's this would be this is the move here. Let me show you. Okay, this is the move here that we saw. Then we got the retest back to here. We didn't get the follow through. Now we're rolling over and testing back down to here. Okay, so that's what the failure would look like in this pattern in here. So you get this move back up, you get this, and then you get this. Let me do that again with black pen. Okay, so we get the move up, get the move back down on the pullback after trading into maybe some high liquidity up in here, and then we get the move back up, and we just don't get that follow through. Okay, we're looking for that continuation. We don't get it. Instead, we get the drop back down, and then we may get the heavy selling in here, and then we continue on down. Okay, so that can happen, and that would be the failure of the reversal. Okay, it happens a lot, and that's why we mentioned it in here. Reversals can be tricky, and you know, you can be a little more aggressive in it here, of trading it back up and taking profit at the structure here, putting your stop down below this swing here, and then you're looking for the try to parlay this into a continuation pattern. Okay, but your second take profit would be up here basically. So we didn't do that. We didn't take a profit up here, right? So we're kind of caught with it. We didn't get our measured move either, but anyway, we'll see. You know, that's we're kind of too back and forth again right now in this move. Yeah, it looks like well, it's still not clear, to be honest. Trading is life. It looks like it's kind of choppy in here now. Hi Tony. Yeah, we don't go. I don't go live every day, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. There are others though that go live every day. We have stuff all day long. I am going to present though later today for onboarding. Let me show you that, or where you can go for it as well, and I'll provide the link for you. I think maybe Dan already did here. Yeah, I'll put it in as well. There you go. And we'll go through any of your questions, get you up and running in Bookmap, get you connected to data, add a symbol, answer other questions. Okay, all about getting up and running with Bookmap. That is here on bookmap.com. You can register in the link I just sent you. You can also go to education and then scroll down to the onboarding webinar right here. Okay, you can register here. It's on Zoom, but it's also here in Discord. Okay, I believe it's on YouTube as well. All right, guys. Well, yeah, pretty back and forth in here. This is our kind of our last gasp in here. Your kind of point of control here. If that's why we kind of held on to that other one over here. This is really your last gasp. I always feel that this is where the buyers came in. Maybe this swing here, but this is it. Like if buyers do not support it in here, then it's over. Right, then we're out and we're looking for continuation to the downside. Now you can see the battle coming right back in here, and buyers fighting it, taking on these sellers right here. Now if they can get back up above it, we can even look for a continuation move to the upside. Right, just think about all of this selling in here. Okay, are these stops in here? Are they getting stopped out, or is it new selling? Well, then we're looking for the short squeeze. to the upside. Okay, so there's a lot of sellers are going to get it wrong, and we can look for the continuation move that we were kind of looking for earlier. But this is another variation of it. In fact, it's kind of like another shoulder here, basically. So, you know, instead of like a double bottom in here, or, you know, this being the shoulder, it's actually you're getting a double shoulder in here. Okay? We don't know yet. There's no follow through yet. Okay, but I'll say this: these sellers in here, if they don't come back in here with more supply, they're going to be feeling the pain. Okay? And they're the ones that are going to be getting squeezed here to the upside. So just think about it. Now, we covered candlestick patterns earlier. You know, people are like, well, I'm going to sell below the swing here, or below the close in here. Okay, well, how are they feeling now? Right? Where are they going to exit? Well, probably up here. You know, so we can look for these buyers here to continue to drive up, and we're looking for the bid to support it, and we're looking for maybe these sellers up in here in the limit order book maybe to pull. Right? All right, guys. Yeah, so that's it. We'll see you later today, maybe at 2 p.m. If not, we'll be here on Friday and go through any of your questions and more details on order flow. Let's see, what was I going to say? Yeah, see you Friday, Caveman. Yeah, please hit the like button, give us a like, come on over to Discord. If you're looking for more support from the community, it is that Bookmap Academy that I would really recommend that you take a look into, because these webinars here are helpful, but you come over to that Bookmap Academy, you're going to get a lot more insight and feedback, coaching and mentoring from like-minded traders over there, as well as our coaches. Okay, so and then we have a meeting on Thursday at market close, and we'll go through. You can research it on our YouTube channel, see some of the recordings in there of what we do. You know, you mark up your charts, and we'll give you feedback on it, and it's a great thing, right? It's a great community we have. Anyway, hope to see you there. We will catch up with you next time. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye-bye.